Okay, welcome everyone. Today I'm joined by Joy Brooks. She's a podcast host of Email and Coffee, a mastermind facilitator, and an email marketing developer and strategist. Welcome to the show.
Hey, how are you, Denny? What's going on?
Doing good. So please share your story and how you came to be who you are now.
Well, mom and dad sat around one day. No, we don't need to go to the birds and the bees, do we? We know how that works. I think I read something the other day about success, right? And the woman was writing, and she said, "Society wants me to be this way, and I feel so much like a failure because I'm not that." And I thought to myself, why am I not hung up with that? I'm not so much hung up these days with what I should be. I am really happy with what I am. And when I found that out, what I am, and when I found that out that made me happy are two different things. And I think it crept up on me slowly because in my 30s, I really wanted to be something, right? Career, I wanted to have a title or something. And over time, I kept thinking to myself, just doesn't feel right. Right? I am what I am, and whatever that is, I might be something else tomorrow. I mean, maybe I'll decide to just be a gardener and give it all up, retire, and have a lovely English garden in Long Island, New York. And that will be just fine. So, how did I get to be who I am today? All of the little bits and pieces that fell into place made me who I am today. And everything that happens, you need to come to peace with. You have to say, this happened. It was good, it was bad, whatever. Feeling wise, I felt good, I felt bad. And then be at peace with it and think, this is going to go into my toolbox and I'm going to pull it out one day. But right now, pack it up, move on. That's how I came to be who I am today. And professionally, for me, it is almost seamless with personally. So it's all wrapped up in one. I am exactly who I am right now. If you're watching this and listening to me, this is who I am. There's no act. Um, it's me, irrevocably.
And has it always been this way for you? Like being true to who you are because you said that it was about titles and stuff in the past and now it's different, or how did that change?
Um, I think growing up, you're always trying to be something. What do you want to be when you grow up? You're going to school. What's your favorite class? Who's your favorite friend? You're always asked to choose something about yourself, right? What sports you want to play? What do you want to do after school, right? Where do you want to go? At night, on a Friday night as you're getting older, where do you want to go? So all of those things are things that you're aspiring to do, things that you're trying to discover what makes you happy. Right? And at some point, you're trying, sometimes you try so hard, it almost becomes you're trying so hard, you're not having any fun. You're trying too hard. And I think I realized that because I was trying so hard to aspire to do the next thing, to become. And then I, at one point, realized just let the petals unfurl. And it wasn't something that, Monday morning I woke up and I said, oh, I'm just going to let it happen, whatever happens. I just slowly realized, gosh, it is what it's going to be. You could waste your time worrying about it, and the outcome is the same. It happens one way or the other. So why, obviously, think about it, consider, make decisions as best as you can. Get yourself out of bad situations, put yourself in better situations, make yourself happy, do things that are healthy, but in the end, it happens, right? It happens. It's almost as if you're in this environment, and the environment that you're in is a wave. And while maybe you can learn how to swim to protect yourself on the wave is going to take you. So what you do on the wave while you're going prepares you for the next wave. And that's what I came to terms with. How to prepare yourself for the next wave. That's really the lesson. And again, that's that toolbox thing. You open the toolbox and say, "Oh, I'm going to need this, but I need that. I need a new bathing suit for the next wave. This one's old." You open up the toolbox, you bring it out, and you're like, "Yeah, this will do." And that's when I realized it doesn't matter what people say, think. Am I saying that I'm perfect and I don't care what people say and think? No, 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 no. There are many times when I'll be in a group or whatever happens, and I'll think, so and so really doesn't like me. Or I wish I were more like so and so, something like that, which is totally human, totally human. And then I say to myself, gee, why did I think that? And I'm like, I can't answer that right now. It's an emotion. Maybe it's not to be answered. Maybe it's just a human thing. Let it pass. Just don't dwell on it. So I try to let the wave take me with all best intentions, right? As I said, I'm human. I'm going to have a day where I'm in a bad mood, right? All that I could say is if I'm not feeling my best, and if I'm frustrated about something, and if I take it out on someone else, that's really not going to help my outcome. So the lesson is to learn how to take negatives and turn them into positives. Sometimes you need to say something. I'm not saying that either. Somebody hurts your feelings, you can turn around and say, you've just hurt my feelings. Or, I can't believe you said that, whatever. But try to turn the negative into a positive. So you have more to work with than less.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so try to turn the negative into the positive.
Yeah.
In terms of, you said there is no reason to worry about things because things are just happening and it doesn't change the outcome. My take on that, or my question on that, what I've found interesting about myself is sometimes when I worry about something, it encourages me to act quicker or to make a decision that I have to make. And sometimes it seems like it is helping because I need to do something and it encourages me to do it. So do you think there is that, or
No,
you
I agree. That's the turning the negative into a positive. So you worried, like, should I quit this job? Right? I'm miserable in this job. It's paying me a lot of money, but I'm miserable in this. What should I do? And you're worrying. You're worrying and you're thinking about it. Oh, I'll think about it tomorrow, and maybe I'll make a decision tomorrow. Right? You keep on doing that to yourself, and you're continuously miserable at work, and you're not solving the problem. So in that case, that worry is a indication that something's not right. And if you have no experience in a situation where you feel something's not right and you have no experience, you don't know what to do. You don't know what to do. That's that worry is how do I explain it? Is somewhat of it's like that gut feeling in your stomach that something's wrong and you don't know what it is. But given more experience, you'll be able to say, I hate this job. That's what's wrong. They're treating me badly. They're paying me a lot of money, but you can't pay me enough to treat me the way they're treating me. So, you get the feeling if you're young, you're thinking, oh, there's something wrong with me. Let's say same job, there's 20 years difference. You're younger, you're thinking, I'm not applying myself right at this job. I'm not doing the right thing. I'm a failure. I'm not successful. I'll never be, you're thinking it's all your fault. 20 years later, you're saying, same situation, you're saying, it's just the amount of years, you're saying, this is not right. They should not be treating me this way. So there's something in your in the toolbox that you could pull out that helps you make these decisions, whereby the one when you're younger and the one that you're older, you may say to yourself, something, I've got a lot of things, I've got a lot of experience, I'm very successful, this is not the right job for me, the culture's bad, I'm going to resign in 2 weeks. And you make the decision. 20 years ago, you're like, I don't know what to do. I'm going to stick with this. Maybe they'll give me another job. I'll look for another job in the company. That's what I'll do. Right. So the decision would be different, and it may take you longer to figure it out. And you may need 10 people to help you figure it out when you're younger. So yes, when you're feeling certain ways, jealousy, for example. Oh, look at so and so. She's so beautiful. Oh, everyone loves her. She walks into a room, everybody smiles. That doesn't happen for me, right? And you're like, oh, that sounds like jealousy to me. You say to yourself, why am I feeling less than she? What's going on here? The question isn't so much, oh, she's taking all the air in the room, and now you're angry with her. The question is, why do I feel like I don't have enough air in the room? What's going on with me? And don't take it out on them. The problem, again, it's a negative. It's a negative kind of thing. You're not feeling right. Take that negative and say, well, what's going on here? Really, what's going on? You may need to pull yourself back a little bit. And then you may need to say to yourself, what is it that I want to do? I want to be relaxed. I want another job. What do I want? What is the best situation for me in this situation? What is it that I'd rather? And then try to figure your way into that. So everything presents you with some amount of challenge. I'm hungry and there's nothing in the refrigerator. What am I going to do? Starve? Go to the store? Call Grubhub? What am I going to do? I have to solve the problem. I'm hungry. Last night I went to bed and I thought to myself, wouldn't it be nice if somebody brought me a cup of coffee? But there's no one here to do that. So if I really want that coffee, I'm going to have to get up and get it myself. And that's, it's not a huge challenge. It's not going to kill anyone. It's not going to hurt anyone, but it's a problem and it's unsettling, right? Could I sit there and wallow and go, no one cares about me. No one's going to bring me coffee. I could ruin my entire day over that because no one is going to bring me coffee. I can't train the dogs to do that. If anyone out there knows how to train a dog to make coffee, let me know. But so everything presents a challenge. And you're right when you say that worry is part of solving the problem. It is part of the process. But if you're just stuck in worry or regret or fear, if you're stuck in one emotion, there's probably a roller coaster of emotions going on. Worry, and then you're like excited, and then you may be angry, and then you do all these things. That's working it out.
Okay, so to summarize, you have a problem, you either worry, you have some kind of a negative emotion, jealousy or something, and then you are looking for a path to solve this problem, to look in yourself and figure out what is the root cause and how do I solve it with as little resistance as possible, as little negative outcomes as possible. But you also told about experience, and it's probably easier to find a solution when you've got an experience. So what would you suggest for someone who doesn't, let's say 20-year-old at the job that he doesn't like or she doesn't like?
Well, having been 20 years old and thinking that I knew everything at one point in time, and that I was going to get everything I wanted, and that all I needed to do was to walk into the room. You get, well, there are some people that are wildly talented, right? So they walk into the room and they get recognized for their talent and they're off to the races. God bless them, right? I honestly hope that they, whatever it is, whatever their talent and skill is, I hope that it takes them and it blossoms within them, and they're able to hold on to it for a long time. And then there are people that work at it and they get to where they want to go, and God bless them too, right? They're hardworking people. Then there are people that it does, just doesn't happen, and they may or may not work at it, right? I would say the majority of us are trying to find something, and it's not the easiest thing in the world, but it is all of those, and that's the majority of us. There, not everyone is super talented and able to, rise to the top at 20 years old, right? And some of us can discover something within us, and then they can make that work. And again, those are talented people, and they rise fast, quickly. Is that the majority of people? No. Are we the majority of people? Yes. The majority of people are, I'm going to go to school, I'm going to go to college, I'm going to get a job, and I'm not exactly sure where I'm going. But maybe I'm going to get married and have a family. Maybe I'm going to become a nomad and move and live in a bunch of countries because I'm not sure. A majority of us are doing that. That's the process. That's the process. And that is the experience. And that's pretty universal. How we apply those experiences, again, it's that damn toolbox. How we apply those experiences and use the tools that we've been given. You have a hammer. Are you going to hit yourself in the head with it? Or are you going to hit nails? Either way, you can do either one. So, it is all of those experiences one at a time. You cannot tell a 20-year-old, have patience, it will come, because that's the last thing they have. They have absolutely no patience. It needs to happen tomorrow, right? I'm bored. I need to do something. It needs to be really exciting, and off they go. That's pretty normal. That's pretty normal. The other thing that I have been giving thought to a lot is the whole cause and effect, nurture nature thing, right? So again, if your parents are millionaires and you're born into millions of dollars and you have every opportunity to do anything you like. So you've traveled, and you had a bicycle, and then you had a car, and you went to the best college, and you started working in your father or mother's business. Everything is given to you, and you have talent. You're going to rise to the top. The thing is, your nurturing has been opportunistic for you. You've had some benefit. Is that fair, unfair? I don't think that's even worth considering. The point is that some people are going to be given a leg up, because that's the way the world is. Put a seed in the ground, one seed's in the shadow, one seed's in the sun. Guess which seed is going to grow, right? Is that unfair to the seed in the shadow? It is what it is. You could say it's unfair, but it is what it is. So, you've got this cause and effect and nature nurture. You grow up in an environment that has given you and taken some things in life. Everybody has that. Some people have more than others. That's a fact. I think the best, again, the expression, when somebody hands you lemons, you make lemonade. I really think the best you can do as a person is to make the best out of what you have. It may not be a lot. There are people that have had nothing and that turn into incredible people, right? You take what you have. There's any number of situations that are very challenging for people, for children, for adults, for teenagers. There are many things going on, and there's lots of suffering, real suffering, not like, oh, I'm a little hungry and nobody's going to bring me my lunch, or, I want a coffee, no one's going to bring me a coffee. People are like, I don't have enough money for coffee. I mean, real suffering. I won't have a home in a month. Uh, real suffering. And I can't solve the world's problems, but all I can say is if we apply ourselves and do the best we can with what we have, that is the definition of success. Taking what we have and adding to that, that's success. It's not a title. It's not $1 million. It's not a shiny new car. It's putting a seed in the ground and it grows. That's success. That's it. You should be proud of yourself if that happens.
Yeah, and for me, it feels like a little bit of a relief because you shouldn't have expectations that others are putting for you. You have your own path. You're just making the best you can in your unique situation, using all the opportunities you have, and this is like the life that you live, and this is the success you want to have. Is that correct?
Yeah. And something else is a lot of people are trying to discover who they are. I get that. And I think that whether you're trying to do it or it's just happening, it's happening regardless. So if you're trying to do all these things, I'm going to travel, I'm going to meditate, I'm going to get a coach, I'm going to work out, go to the gym, I'm going to do all these things because I need to find out who I am. You're going to find out who you are regardless. You just need to be quiet enough to hear the sound, and that sound, that silence is who you are. In that silence is who you are. It's there all the time. It didn't need to be discovered. You needed, again, to come to peace with it. You need to say, you know what, I'm not that athlete. I love sports. I wish I was that athlete. So I'm going to be a fan of sports. And does that need to define me? No, I thought I was going to be an athlete, but no, I'm not cut out for that. So don't say, now what am I going to do? You're just going to say, I really love sports. Maybe I can work within sports. Maybe I could do something else in sports. The point is, as you're discovering what you like, what you don't like, what works, what doesn't work, don't say, I'm such a failure. I was going to be a gymnast and I'm not a gymnast. I broke my leg and now I don't know what I'm going to do. That you say, but I still love working in the gym or whatever it is. Take it and take it the next step. That's the discovery process. It's like, what is it that makes me jump up on Monday for a brand new day? What makes me go to bed and be excited about the next day? I don't have these huge aspirations. Like, I don't go to bed and go, oh God, I can't wait till tomorrow because I'm going to, I'll say it again. The reason why I wake up in the morning, I want that cup of coffee. And during that email and coffee, you get it? During that, when I'm having the coffee and it's good, it's warm, it's doing exactly what it needs to do, I'm thinking very peaceful thoughts. I've got to do laundry. Let me do laundry today. Oh, you know what? This project is due. I'll do this project first, then I'll do laundry. Oh, I'll do laundry while I'm thinking really simple things. I'm solving really simple problems. 40 years ago, I think I would have been panicking. After the coffee or maybe drinking the coffee, I'd be like, I don't know what I'm doing. Oh my God. Because I didn't have the same toolbox. And I think it's natural. I really do. Younger people are supposed to be a little bit more nervous about what they're doing, a little bit more unsure. That's the safeguard. That's the process to say, I'm taking this huge risk. I'm feeling really nervous about it. And after the risk is over and I've accomplished something, what does that feel like? Was it worth it? Like, I just jumped out of the plane. Is this exciting? Do I want to do this again? Or was it like one and done? So all of those experiences that you're having as you're growing into yourself, it is discovering yourself. If you're a huge risk taker all your life, that plane jump is going to be wildly exciting for you. But if you're not a risk taker and you'd rather be stuck in a job for your entire life and never ever have to deal with anything ever again, knowing that I've got a good job, 9 to 5, I don't even think about it. 5 o'clock, I come home, I don't even think about it. That airplane jump is not for you. Now, if you're holding yourself back, that's a different thing. It's hard to be honest with yourself, and I can say I don't know the process. I know how it works for me. And it's just be honest. I will say things like I'm pretty humble, and someone will say, "Oh, Joy, you shouldn't put yourself down." I'm like, being humble is not putting myself down. Being humble, in my definition, means I might discover something tomorrow that I didn't know today, and I'm willing to accept that. Right? I don't know everything. I never know everything. If I'm 99 and I pass away, I will still not know everything. I'll have missed something. I will have forgotten something, whatever it is. And I'm okay with being humble. But it might drive someone else to higher heights, thinking that they can be, I'm going to use the term perfect. Somebody may want to be the best, and it drives them. Again, I don't think that's wrong. I think if you're honest with yourself and you say, I'm really driven. I can't just win one race. I've got to win them all. Then you say, okay, then, you're going to be racing, and keep in mind that at some point in time, you're going to lose a race. What are you going to do when you lose that race? What are you going to do? Because you can't win every race. There's going to come a time when you're going to have to pass the baton. So be humble and pass the baton.
And also be honest with yourself. Try
really hard. I really mean it, And I know it's not natural because my husband passed away, but I used to say to him all the time, well, we would have a discussion, and women like to talk about things, men do not. My husband was one of those that really didn't like to talk. And sometimes we would have a situation and I would say, well, why do you feel that way? And he would say, don't psychoanalyze me. And I'd be like, okay, whoa. He and many people are very uncomfortable having those conversations with other people and with themselves. I get that. I really do. But I can only think to myself that if people who are uncomfortable figuring things like anger or sorrow or grief, if people are uncomfortable in that single emotion and can't move on, they need a little help. They really do. A single emotion. Like, we were talking before. If you're just going to worry about something and you cannot move on, that's problematic. The point is, worry is that trigger that says, what's going on here? Something's wrong. The question should be right after worry. Like, I'm worried. Why? Why am I worried? What am I worried about? And then you should begin to figure it out, because you need to move on to the next emotion. And the next emotion may be fear. And then, again, maybe anger, maybe sorrow, regret. At some point in time, as you move through those emotions, you need to solve the problem. Not saying you need to be happy, laughy, smiley, wonderful about it. You may come to terms and say, okay, my husband passed away. I'm all alone. He's never going to make coffee for me again. Am I stuck here? No. You're going to have to move on. So do what you need to. And what I did was, exactly in this situation, this is how my mind works. Okay? So along the lines of no one's going to make me coffee again, I took a picture of my husband and I put it right next to my coffee mugs. And I'm not kidding. I'm not making this up. There's a picture right next to my coffee mugs. So when I open the cabinet, there's the picture. And I say, every morning, good morning, Harry. Would you like a cup of coffee? And he would normally say to me, no, 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 honey, not right now. And I laugh at that every day. So yes, grieving, I'm grieving over my husband. Am I going to be stuck there? No. So I solved the problem. So I remember him every morning. I have a cup of coffee for him, and I have that little conversation. And maybe somebody will say, Joy's a little fruitcakey. She's a little nutty. I don't care. It's how I move through grief, that I'm actually smiling in the memory. That's how I solve problems.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, thanks for sharing that. That's very personal, and I think it's very valuable for people like me listening to this, because I mean, lesson for me is you have to figure out the way to move on from any kind of a difficult situation. You have to figure out, you have to look in yourself and solve the problem, and there's always a way to do it. And it doesn't you shouldn't care about what people think about the solution, uh, as long as you know you're genuinely moving on and solving the problem.
Right. When I actually start pouring coffee for him and thinking that I'm seeing it at the table, that's when I need to check into the hospital. But that hasn't happened yet. And maybe not check into the hospital. Maybe, like call paranormal and have them come and check out my house because maybe he is here. I don't know.
Well, I'm glad that you can laugh about it and joke about it. Well, before we end, what you shared a lot of super important lessons and advice. Is there any one in particular you want to emphasize on, like the biggest lesson or rule that people want to follow to go through life?
Oh gosh. I had to come to terms with my past, my present, my future. The past being what it was. So you look behind you and say, okay, I never got the bicycle I wanted. Okay. I was the most popular in school. Okay. Past, your present. Okay, this is what I've got now. This is where I am. Where am I going for future? And if you can do that and calm yourself down. So if you find yourself doing that and getting excited, check out the emotions. Check them out. Ask the question, what am I feeling? I'm feeling fear, anger, regret, again, happiness, whatever. I'm so excited because I just, hit the lottery and I've got $1 million. Check them out. Calm yourself down and tackle one thing at a time and peel one thing away at a time if it's not working. So don't take steps and do 15 things. Don't decide to fix it by joining the gym and joining a network and traveling. Don't do 15 things at once. Say, I need a change. Change one thing. Figure it out. Is this working? Yeah, I like this group. Good. Okay. Toolbox. Got something in the toolbox. This is not working. It's also put it in the toolbox. It's not working. Next. And you just calm yourself down. Don't try. Again, you may be one of those people where opportunity knocks at your door. But if it doesn't come knocking at your door, there is opportunity. It's just not that big, no, you didn't win the lottery. No. All right. Somebody else did. That doesn't mean that they're better off than you. So don't take lightly the things that are happening to you. Don't take them lightly. Don't think that don't get caught up in the grass is always greener where, oh, but this is that person just got a really great job and I'm still working at this horrible job. Don't do that. Like I said, try to check with, why are you feeling the other one is better job than you because, you want to aspire to more. Okay. So work on that. Just try to get hold of your emotions one baby step at a time. Don't rush too much unless you're feeling that this is a grand opportunity that you need to take the bull by the horns. that's an experience also. Just try to be be thoughtful about who you are, what you have, past, present, future, and be very happy with those, grateful things. Very happy with the things you have, and attempt to take those to the next level. So if you're, if you're a decent writer and you like to write poetry, well, that's your talent. Do it. All right. Do you have to make money off of that? Not necessarily. Could you? Maybe. Will you in 10 years? Possibly. Do you have to do that right now? No. Just, you're a poet, so be a poet. Look at things differently than other people do. If you're an athlete, do those things. Just be who you are in the most graceful way, and let that flower, let the petals open up and take it in, drink it in. Drink the sunshine in. Don't gulp, don't choke. Don't worry. Again, worry is just one of those emotions. Take them all. Take all the emotions. Good, bad, ugly, take them all in. They're human.
Nice, nice. I appreciate your openness and honesty and all of the lessons that you shared today. Um, it was awesome. Thank you again for coming and for um, sharing all that.
I appreciate it. Thank you, Danny, for inviting me.
Thank you.